Hi guys! Welcome back! So, tuloy lang natin yung topic natin last time. So, this is Math 403 Engineering Data Analysis. And yung topic natin last time is the hypothesis testing. Yan. Since ito nga pala ay recorded, so hindi ko malalaman if you have questions. Okay? So, kung meron kayong question, just comment on our Google Classroom where this video is posted with the topic, then space your timestamp kung saan kayo may question, and of course, yung question nyo. So, for example, you have question dito. Okay? So, ilalagay nyo lang topic. So, ang topic natin, ito, yung hypothesis testing. Yung dito, sa baba. Hypothesis testing introduction. Okay, ilalagay nyo yung topic. Then, space yung timestamp. Let's say, sa 20 seconds, may question na kagad kayo. So, ilagay nyo lang 0, semicolon, then 20. So, for 20 seconds yun. And then, your question. So, halimbawa, ang question nyo is, Sir, saan ba yung background mo? Ang ganda naman. Yun. So, comment nyo lang yan kung saan nakapost tong video na to. Okay? And to answer your question, syempre, yan yung sa Dolomite Beach. Okay? And then, so let's go now to our discussion. So, continuation lang to. So, Math 403 Engineering Data Analysis. Okay? So, last time, may mga na-discuss na tayo dito. So, recall muna natin ang ating mga na-discuss. And we have a new learning objectives for today. So, our learning objectives is number 1, to test hypotheses on the mean of a normal distribution using either a z-test or a t-test. Okay? Last time, meron na tayong mga natapos na examples hanggang z-test. Okay? So, ngayon, may mga examples pa rin tayo sa z-test. Konting examples. And then, t-test. Okay? Then, test hypotheses on the variance or standard deviation of a normal distribution. So, variance naman. Okay? Kung last time, ang tinest kasi natin ay hypothesis on the mean. Kung makikita nyo, ang null hypothesis natin, mu is equal to mu naught or mu is equal to a certain population mean. Ngayon, meron na tayong test hypothesis on the variance naman or standard deviation. So, variance or standard deviation, so yun yung sigma natin of a normal distribution. Okay? And then, isa pa is test hypothesis on a population proportion. So, bukod sa mean, variance, meron pa tayong population proportion. And use the p-value approach for making decisions in hypothesis test. Okay? Yan. Now, recall hypothesis testing. Hypothesis testing is a decision-making process for evaluating the claims about a population. The goal of this process is to make judgment about the difference between the sample statistics and hypothesis population parameter. In this process, the researcher must define the population under study, state the hypothesis to be investigated, give the significance level, select a sample, collect data, perform the required test, and reach a conclusion. So, yun yung mga ginagawa natin for hypothesis testing last time. And then, the z-test and t-test are statistical test or hypothesis for hypothesis testing on means, while, ito yung bago, chi-square test is used for testing the standard deviation. Gagamitin natin. So, pag hypothesis testing ng mean, z-test, t-test. Kapag standard deviation or variance, chi-squared test. Now, let us just recall the null and alternative hypotheses. So, null hypothesis denoted by H sub O. And it is the statement of equality indicating no existence of relationship between the variables under study. So, ito yung ating, yung null ay yung there is no significant difference. So, ito yung mu equals the mu naught or the mean population. And then, yung alternative hypothesis, it is denoted by HA or H1 is also termed as research hypothesis. So, it is a statement of the expectation derived from the theory under study. So, ito naman yung ating there is a significant difference. So, pwedeng not equal lang or greater than or less than. And then, we have the level of significance and the steps in hypothesis testing. Now, we have type 1 and type 2 error. Okay? So, ito yung sa ating level of significance. So, a type 1 error occurs if one rejects the null hypothesis when it is true. Yan. Kung meron daw tayong null hypothesis, tapos ang lumabas sa ating decision is reject null hypothesis, pero yung null hypothesis natin ay true. So, yun ay isang example ng type 1 error. So, in type 1 error, so it is also referred to as the significance level denoted by the Greek letter symbol alpha. So, nasabi naman natin, ang common values ng alpha ay 1%, 5%, and 10%. And then, for type 2 error, ito naman when if one does not reject the null hypothesis when it is false. Okay? And then, it is denoted by Greek symbol beta. Okay? So, beta naman dito. So, type 1 error, alpha. Type 2 error, beta. Now, recall ulit natin yung general procedure for test of hypothesis. So, una, state the null and alternative hypotheses. Alam naman na natin yan. So, marunong na rin kayo yan. Next, determine the level of significance and the direction of test. So, ito yung alpha. So, pagka alam na natin yung alpha, yung direction of test, so, ito lang kung one-tailed test or two-tailed test. Pag one-tailed, pwedeng left-tailed test or right-tailed test. Now, next is to determine the appropriate statistical test based on the level of measurement of the data gathered. So, determine yung appropriate statistical test. Z-test, T-test, or chi-squared test. Okay, kung ano yung appropriate. And then, ito, dinagdag ko, write the decision rule expressing on how to accept or reject the null hypothesis. Oh. Yan. So, isusulat na natin kagad yung decision rule natin para pag na-compute natin yung test statistic, okay, and then ma-compare, alam kagad natin yung gagawin. Hindi yung isipin pa ulit natin. Ano nga bang gagawin ko pag greater than ba yung na-compute ko, re-reject ko ba, or pag less than, ganun. Okay? So, inilista na natin agad para alam kagad natin kung ano yung gagawin nating decision. And then, compute the test statistic and compare with the critical value. So, we would compute kung ano yung test statistic na napili natin and compare with the critical value. And yun yung magsasabi kung i-reject natin yung null hypothesis or we fail to reject the null hypothesis. Next is to state the decision based on the resulting computed value when compared to the critical value. Yan. Sabihin lang natin kung ano yung decision natin. Kung ano yung decision based doon sa computed value and the critical value. And last, draw scientific or engineering conclusion for the given problem. So, syempre, hindi yun matatapos dun sa decision. Kailangan meron din tayong conclusion. Okay? So, that's it for the general procedure for that test of hypothesis.